All right, Steve, I got the cocktail sensation that's about to sweep the nation. This is an idea I had this week, and I want to go ahead and put it out here. That way, we'll all know it's trademarked Dead and Lovely. You heard it here first. This is going to be the next big thing, okay?
Okay.
So you've seen these things where you can take like a bottle of vodka and you infuse it with all kind of candies and stuff. You got these people making like a Skittle vodka.
Yeah.
They'll use like Jolly Ranchers or whatever. I got this idea that I'm going to go on the Amazon. I'm going to order up a whole bunch of them Harry Potter Bertie Bott's beans, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to make me some booger vodka.
Booger vodka. I was wondering where it was going. Was it going to be dirt? Was it going to be black pepper? Didn't know. Booger vodka. Uh-huh.
Yep. That's going to be the next big thing. Give me a shot of that booger vodka, barkeep.
Hey, barkeep, please. Make it
What's
extra
already?
snotty for me.
Then you make special shots with it, like the Beam Me Up Snotty and stuff like that.
Booger vodka and an egg white.
Oh my God, that's called a sinus infection. God, this episode's disgusting. We gotta get the fuck out of here. It's gone too far. Welcome, dead and lovely listeners, to the newest installment of the grossest horror movie review podcast. Here with the most immature and childish host with the most. It's me, Uncle Ben.
Me, Hollywood Steve.
And we're here this week to be talking about a horror classic plus booger vodka. We're talking about Rosemary's Baby. We're going to get all deep like into this thing. We're going to do some catching up. We're going to have some fun. If you just want to get to the movie, there's a timestamp for that in the podcast description. Just go to there. You're going to miss the good stuff. I warned you.
That's true. The good stuff is always us dicking around.
Up front. That's what the people come here for, you know? It's like when you go to a restaurant and you're like, you know, the mains are okay, but the apps are really where it's at.
That is, yeah. You know, you get that appetizer sampler, and then you're like, I don't even need a meal.
Are we the O'Charlies of horror movie podcasts?
Yeah. You get the 3 potato skins. You get the mozzarella sticks, and 3 chicken tenders, I believe. So
I think that's right.
There you go. I mean,
that's us.
That's us.
And we send you out the door with some ooey gooey caramel pie.
Oh man, that stuff is rich.
Boy, howdy, I tell you what.
It's really good. By the way, if you've never had caramel pie, I mean, it's rich as hell. It's super sweet, but
it's a thing.
It's real good, yeah.
It's a thing. Steve, how you been doing this week?
Great, man. Been great. Just kicking it. You know, not getting into too many hijinks, but I saw somebody yesterday, Ben. Like
Who'd
a person.
You see?
Physically.
What? No way.
Yeah,
Impossible.
From a distance. By the name of
Ben
Eller.
Distance. That's where God was watching us.
That's where God was watching us. Yeah, I saw you.
You seen me. You did.
I talked to you on the sidewalk yesterday. It was the first time I had seen you in months.
I think so. I think it has been a really long time. I think there's a few times that I've done a beer drop and I've just like seen you through a door.
Yep.
Like at the top of the stairs.
Yep.
But that's about it. Otherwise, I think we look fantastic.
That's true. We do look fantastic. We are kicking it.
Your hair's getting long.
It's very long. It is very long, and I'm glad it's not as hot outside anymore because it was starting to become a problem.
Dude, I'll tell you what, it's beautiful outside in Tennessee right now.
It's nice.
I've got them windows open right now, so you guys are going to be treated to some extra Knoxville street noise. You might hear some of the brand new crackheads we got down here.
Yeah.
You're going to have some fun if you listen in the background. It's all about Foley work.
Go Vols! Okay, I want to buy some crack.
That's it. That's what they
Knoxville.
say.
There it was. Oh, is that a tiger?
Yeah, we had a tiger scare in Knoxville last week. That's all that anybody could talk about. Somebody called it in to the cops and said that they saw a tiger walking around like the downtown area and stuff. It might have just been a big old like mountain lion or cougar or something, because we do have those.
Most likely. We do, yeah.
It also might have been somebody who was a crackhead and just saw like a fucking golden retriever. It was like,
probably
tiger.
More likely. More likely.
I'd say it's very likely. Oh man, yeah, the fun times, the excitement that we have here in 2020, right?
Yeah. I've been having a good week. How about you, Ben?
I've been good, man. I've been fucking busy. It's been hectic and everything, but I've been good, and we've been getting in the Halloween spirit. Of course, Halloween starts in September, as we all know.
Do you think Busy Phillips, whenever people ask her husband what he's been up to, he says, "I've been fucking busy," and they're like, "Oh, a lot of work, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, work." Right.
I get it. Huh. Dude, we've been already getting in the spirit and watching some of our Halloween classics. And this year, we had the pleasure of experiencing something very fun because not only did I watch Ghostbusters the other day.
Oh, yeah?
But we got to watch Ghostbusters with somebody, and this is so rare and so special that if you can ever get this, you need to savor it. We got to watch Ghostbusters with somebody our age who has never seen Ghostbusters.
Do what?
That would be our friend Josh's wife, Brooke.
Brooke had never seen Ghostbusters.
She had never seen Ghostbusters. So we got together and we watched that movie. And I'll tell you what, it was so fun watching that movie that I know like the back of my hand, inside and out, with somebody who had never seen it before.
Yeah.
Because you get to experience all the just like, holy shit, what was that? All the fun stuff. But then also, if you didn't grow up with that movie,
it's weird.
You don't. Well, it's really weird, and you also notice like the weird time gaps and stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
Like basically, like right after they secure, the old fire station and stuff for their base, they're out about to bust their first ghost, and they've got like the proton packs and
already.
Stuff like this.
Yeah.
And the traps and the containment system. And Brooke was like, "Hang on, did I fall asleep? Where'd they get those from? What is that? What's on their back?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, that is just one of those leaps of logic that we've all just learned to deal with. It never shows how they came up with that shit.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. I think, I've never even considered that. Wow. Huh.
Yeah, I'd never noticed that about it, but it was really fun getting to watch that with somebody who'd never seen it before. And just as a heads up, the movie is still fucking the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw it as an adult, and I hadn't seen it in a long time, just all of it hitting me. Like, I think you see, I had seen it so many times as a kid. You see a movie so many times as a kid that you don't actually absorb it.
No.
You
just
like,
know it.
Yeah, you just know that it's there. But yeah, finally seeing it, and it's like, wait a minute. Gatekeeper, Keymaster, Zool. I don't remember all of this. Like, what is happening here? There are demons and shit involved.
Do you know if we're still getting that Ghostbusters like remake, reboot, whatever this year, or is that
not this year? Yeah, they pushed it to next year, I think. But yeah, that is coming. I think it's done. Like, it was supposed to come out in October. I'm pretty sure they're done with it, but it's just coming out next year. So
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see about it, man. Yeah, Ghostbusters fucking awesome. We also watched one of our favorites that we watch at the start of every Halloween season. We watched Paranorman the other day.
Oh, okay. Great. Still
which
awesome.
I love. Mm-hmm. It's just like always the right thing to watch, man. Such a fun movie. Like the production company that makes that and a lot of the other, modern stop motion movies. They really, really know what's up, man.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. Watched The Witch. Hadn't seen that in a couple years. Probably since we did our show on it, I guess.
Oh, wow.
I hadn't seen that in a couple of years. Man alive. God, I love that movie so fucking much,
man. It's a great movie.
Man.
Absolutely.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And I think in non-horror related stuff this week for my pick of Documonday, where we watch a different documentary every Monday, I chose to watch the first couple episodes from the Dark Side of the Ring series that you had mentioned on previous podcasts.
Awesome. Yeah, you told me about this, and I realized that I had skipped the first season. Because you were watching the Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage one, right? Which is the first one of the first season.
That's the first one.
I started with the second season. I didn't know that there was another narrator. Like, Jericho's the narrator in the second season. He does a great job.
Awesome.
In the first season, I don't know who that guy is.
Somebody Southern.
He's very Southern. They don't use him as much as they use Jericho in the second season. So, but wow, Dark Side of the Ring, so good,
fucking awesome, dude. I was like, obviously already interested in the subject matter and stuff. I watched the first one, which, like you said, was about Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, and I watched the second episode too, which was about the Montreal screw job.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And dude, it's like not only is the subject matter awesome, but the presentation and the editing and like the little reenactment bits that they do are so good, and the interview spots with the guys are so candid.
Yeah.
Man, I really thought that was fantastic. I'm definitely going to watch through all of them, man. I saw that there's like I think a Road Warriors episode.
Yeah,
and
that
just
one
all
is
kinds of shit I
great.
can't wait to see.
The Road Warriors episode is great. The Owen Hart episode is, sad. The Chris Benoit double episode is very sad.
Dude, the thing with like the Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth episode, though, that I didn't realize is like how much they were bringing in like their real life relationship stuff into the storylines and things. That's real fucked up. That's real fucked up.
Very fucked up.
Man, it was dark, dude. It was real fucking dark. Really sad. I want to watch more, but it's the kind of thing that I probably got to space them out because they're dark. You watch anything good this week?
Yeah. You recommended the Andre the Giant documentary a few weeks ago, so sat down and watched it. Enjoyed it so much. It was great.
It's so good. It's so good.
Also sad because of all the pain and stuff he had to deal with. But I think mostly it was a pretty uplifting, like, look at how cool this guy was. What an interesting life he led.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, there's plenty of celebration of his life and his larger than life personality and all that stuff, as well as, like you said, some sad stuff.
I didn't know about his farm in North Carolina.
Me neither.
That's interesting to me. I know that's kind of like Zach Galifianakis also has a farm in North Carolina. It's kind of like, apparently you can move to North Carolina and be famous, and people are just like, I don't care.
I don't know him. I don't talk to him.
Yeah. I guess I can't see that working in Tennessee though. Like, if in Jefferson City growing up, we knew there were wrestlers that lived around and we wanted to like run into them. I can't imagine Andre the Giant has a farm and you're just like, yeah, whatever. You see him in town,
especially
it's like
North Carolina,
7 feet tall. Like you're not gonna run up and be like, hey Andre. What's up?
Are you Andre the Giant?
I'm pretty sure you might be Andre the Giant.
No, it's not me.
No. Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah, really good documentary. Very well done.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I also started a show called The Orville. Ben?
The Orville?
The Orville.
Is it about Redenbacher?
It is. It's about Orville Redenbacher, and it is filthy. He's just fucking left and right.
Orville Redenbacher like to fuck.
That's why he created popcorn. He didn't have time to cook the corn.
We gotta get this corn done so we can get back to fucking.
Yeah. No, The Orville is Seth MacFarlane's space show, which is a perfect clone of a Star Trek show. If you love Star Trek and you have not watched The Orville yet, watch The Orville. It's just Star Trek. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's almost like Seth MacFarlane saw what they did with the Star Trek movies, what J.J. Abrams did, and he was like, you know what I could do? I could just make Star Trek. Like, I could make the show that people love instead of, not that I hated J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, but it was not anything like what Star Trek is.
Right, yeah.
Star Trek is a lot more like
stuff.
Yeah, Star Trek is a lot more talking, a lot more diplomacy, a lot more of what most people would consider boring, which is why Star Trek has a very specific fan base. But
nerds, am I right?
Exactly.
Geeks.
The Orville really scratches that itch. If you've missed, it really feels a lot to me like The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine a little. Deep Space Nine was probably way too deep for The Orville. I don't know though. I'm not too far into it. I've only seen 6 episodes, so I love it though. I'm enjoying it a whole lot.
Sounds pretty awesome, man. Is there any like noteworthy cast members, anything in there?
Well, Seth MacFarlane stars. Beyond that, nobody that you would know immediately by name. But I think the cast is great. They do a great job. They picked some good people for sure, and I like their alien designs. A lot of them are very simple, which is something that I think people if you've learned anything from 60, 70 years of sci-fi television, it's that the simpler you make your aliens, the better it's going to be over time. Because can you imagine putting on that Worf makeup as to be a Klingon every time they shot an episode of The Next Generation? Like, that would have taken hours, and you'd be there under the lights for days wearing this hot-ass makeup. It would be the worst.
And not to mention for years on end. Like, when you talk about people doing these special effects makeup things for movies, it's like, and it lasted every day for a month. And it's like, dude, that motherfucker playing Worf had to do that for years.
Yeah, that ran, I think Next Generation was like 6 seasons or something, and then they've made several movies, and he was in Deep Space Nine, and I think in some other stuff. So, like, yeah, I can't imagine. So, you want it to be simple. One of them is basically she just has, like, a little nose ridge and her ears look a little weird, but it's super effective. It's like, yeah, that's probably what an alien would look like.
Yeah, I mean, I got an aunt that looks like that. I don't see her on nothing but the holidays, but sounds just like her. I think she's pretty weird too.
Is she from another planet?
She's from another county.
Oh, same thing. What's the
might
difference?
As well be.
Might as well be.
Peoples from Hamlin County ain't nothing like Jeff County peoples.
I don't get them. They go to
Totally
a different
different.
Olive Garden than we do.
Ooh, I can't even imagine.
I went to that Olive Garden one time. Too much salt.
Just too much salt, huh? That was the problem.
That was
too
the
much
problem.
salt. Did you guys get into anything on the old Dead and Lovely streaming chat?
We did.
last
We got
Friday?
into something, that we've talked about a million times, The Prowler.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we've talked about that movie, but have never fucking covered it, have we?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, it's like,
Not a lot to say.
every time you rewatch it, it's a reminder that it's a boring movie. It's just
It's
that
boring.
Tom Savini's effects are amazing.
Yeah. I don't think there's really much to it other than that.
That's
frankly.
it. Yeah. Beyond that, the movie's like, I don't care. But Tom Savini's effects just so great. So it was enjoyable. I mean, we obviously always have a fun time, but it was a boring movie.
So much good stuff to consume while we're all staying home and being good, responsible people and not spreading the deadly virus to one another. There's so many things to choose from. And Steve, just thinking about all these options, it's got my appetite worked up. I think I need to throw a beer in my face.
I would like to get a nice, delicious beer sandwich in me.
Yeah, just a full face full of beer, and we've got ourselves something here. Whenever I seen you on the sidewalk last night, I gived you one of these. I got these co-beers from
excited.
the Merchants of Beer in Old City, Knoxville,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a Clown Shoes Rainbows Are Real. We've had a couple of Clown Shoes beers
Yes, we
here on the
have,
show, and
and
we
they
have
have been
enjoyed
great.
their works.
Mhm.
Yeah. They make things that are nice. I got a 4-pack of these, and I had one of them the other night. And I'll tell you this, Steve, I felt like I was a real weed eater whenever I drank this thing.
Okay.
So I bought it
real
because on the
weed
top of the
eater.
can, on the top of the can it says Hazy IPA.
Right.
But then whenever you read the description on the side,
Yeah, it's got some terpenes in it looks like.
yeah, exactly, man. It says, from the mythic hammer-wielding beast to intergalactic agriculturists, here at Clown Shoes we think about some crazy stuff. But even we can barely comprehend the natural wonder of a big, beautiful rainbow. We will forever remain in awe of these massive swaths of vibrant color that stretch forever into the horizon. This hazy IPA contains the terpenes, beta-pinene, and linalool, aromatic compounds derived from natural botanical sources. They supplement the sweet malt backbone and lively blend of Azaka, Citra, and Mosaic hops that make Rainbows Are Real shine with fresh, juicy notes of sweet citrus. So I didn't know that this had terpenes in it when I bought it, because sometimes that's a real hit and miss with me. Sometimes it's a real swing and a miss, you know?
Yeah, that can taste pretty bad from time to time.
It tastes like bong water beer sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the bad experience I've had, where it just tastes like bong water and it doesn't have. I guess what you're looking for with the terpenes is either the citrusy ones or the piney ones, right?
Yeah, the resinous ones, right? This is definitely in that piney, resiny
you
territory.
can smell it. Yeah, I've got it
as
poured
soon
out
as you open
here,
it. Yep.
and it's it's got a good smell to it. It's also cloudy as hell.
Yeah, it looks like some dirty old sink water. I predict that you're going to like this a lot because
Yeah, I'm
like
gonna
the
me a
real
little
kind of
sip here.
resinous nature of it, plus all the really juicy, fruity stuff from the hops, and it's got a slight bitterness to it on the back end too. I thought it was really fucking good. It's definitely unlike any beer that I've ever had, so I look forward to seeing what you think about it.
Okay. Yeah. So it's okay. It is weedy, but like
Very.
positively weedy.
Yeah.
Like it's not bong water for sure.
Right, yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of that thing where it's like you've had edibles that have a bunch of cheap garbage weed, and you're like,
Right.
it tastes like weed. And then you've had other stuff made with maybe nicer things, and you're like,
Right.
oh man, like that tastes like some dank shit in there.
Yeah. This tastes like it tastes good. It tastes like gosh, what is that? I mean, I could taste Citra, but it's like it's got like this like sweetness, bitter thing going on. A good balance of the two. Not
Yeah,
really
and
too
it's
bad.
not overly sugary.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Not too like sweet, not too bitter, but they're both there.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, man.
that is
I had
interesting.
this last week, and I was like, at first, whenever I had it, I was like, I don't know if I like this or not, because I traditionally don't like that kind of beer. But then I just kind of kept drinking it, and I was like, actually, this is working for me. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah, second drink of it. Yeah, I'm into it. I'm thinking I'm into it.
It's got a little soapiness combined with the pine, which makes it like a little pine solly.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some pine to it, but it's not overpowered. It's not like bad. Yeah, I'm into this. Okay.
Definitely unique. I mean, if you're looking for something like unique to try that's not just another weedy, piney beer, and definitely not another just, juicy IPA or whatever, if you can find yourself some of this stuff, go ahead and snag it, because it's definitely different. Like, I don't know if I would want to sit down and drink more than one of these. I don't think I would do that.
Yeah, it's got a lot to it for sure. I'm looking at it here. It's also got like a reddish hue to it.
Yeah, a little bit, doesn't it?
What is that? That's interesting. It's good.
Yeah,
I'm into
I'm
it.
glad you like it.
For sure. Yeah.
Clown
It
Shoes
is
makes good
definitely
stuff.
strange.
That's right, man. If you guys want to help give us some beer money so we can buy more Code beers, you should support this show on the Patreon.
Oh, Patreon.com/Dad and Lovely. Head on over there. There you can become a $1 patron, and you get the free episodes. You pay for episodes.
It's called bonus content.
Yeah,
It's
bonus
called
content. That's
You get
what they
bonus
call
content.
it. Bonus
Yeah.
content. Yes, we just did the X-Files home episode. So that should be up by the time this is out. So go check that out. Also,
That's right.
if you become a $5 patron, you get to do things like decide what movies we cover, like this one, which was chose by Jen Luke.
That's right. That is right, man. This episode here is a Patreon pick. You guys always pick out some things that are awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd say I'm surprised by your good taste, but I'm not. You listen
No,
to Dead and
I'm
Lovely.
not either.
You like things that are nice.
Yep.
So
You know
I'm
what's
not
up.
shocked.
You know what's up.
You guys pick good movies and stuff. So yeah, sign up at the $5 level, and you get to drop one into the smoking bowl. And who knows? Maybe the next month's episode will be yours, because we do a Patreon drawing once a month. So
That's
it
right.
could be you. This could be you.
Yeah.
You could be paying us to do the Wraith again.
We do need to revisit some movies, I think, especially ones where we were super drunk when we were recording.
Oh my God, dude. I'm thinking I'm going to become a patron just so I can toss in a couple.
That makes it good.
But the thing is, you already know what they're going to be. It's going to be the Wraith again. It's going to be
Yeah.
Chopping Mall. It's going to be
Uh-huh.
Intruder. Just basically really shit 80s
Just
slashers.
terrible 80s slashers, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. But you're going to draw one, and we're going to do it. So yeah, sign up for that Patreon page today. Join in the fun, and get your pull.
Hell yeah.
Now, Steve, the subject of today's episode is, of course, Ira Levin's Rosemary's Baby. And one of the really defining characteristics of this flick, one of the more memorable characters that we have is Guy, who is
Yeah.
Rosemary's man, her beau.
Yeah, John Cassavetes.
and he is a bad beau.
He not good. He's very bad.
No, this might be more of the beau that we heard about when James Hetfield from Metallica said beau. It's more like that.
Beau!
He meant more like this, like bad husband.
Beau. Hetfield no like beau.
Beau! And this is not the first time that we've had ourselves a naughty horror husband or a very bad scary movie partner. We've had plenty of these in some of the movies that we've reviewed here on our award-deserving show. So, Steve, before we get into the movie review proper, I'm just going to suggest that we take a little detour here into the Preview Palace.
Welcome to the Preview Palace.
And Steve, I'd say now that we're here in the Preview Palace, maybe let's just take a second here and figure out if Guy was really all that bad in comparison to some of our other shitty horror partners that we've talked about in the past. I mean, he's a naughty guy. He's self-centered, not the best guy.
He is willing to basically give up the world just to become a famous actor. So I'd call him bad. I'd call that bad man.
Not a good person, really.
Not a good person.
But let's compare him to some other not good people and see if he's as bad as we really think he is. What do you think about that?
Yeah, okay.
How about we start on, let's say, the less extreme end of the scale, because whenever we reviewed Shaun of the Dead, we definitely noted that Shaun, while a lovable guy that we all grow to love, he's got a big character arc throughout the movie and stuff. Not exactly the best boyfriend. He's very forgetful.
Not
very mindful of his lady.
Yeah, but also he doesn't prioritize Liz, which is really his issue, I think, is that he doesn't make her a priority. But he is a young guy who maybe isn't interested in settling down. I'd say he should be clear about that with Liz, but he isn't selling her baby to Satan. So I'd say a pretty clear Guy's probably worse, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say less bad. Less bad. Again, he is a little bit mundane with his restaurant choices and stuff like this. Always want to do the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think Guy's worse.
Yeah. I mean, listen, hey, not remembering to make a reservation, pretty shitty.
Okay.
But again, letting Satan rape your wife, probably worse.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Now, how would you compare that to, let's say, what's that boyfriend in that first Scream movie that turns out to be one of our killers?
Yeah.
Skeet Ulrich. That's right, man. Now, he's not a great guy. He does some mischievous, very bad things.
Yeah, I'd say he and Matthew Lillard probably take pretty high up bad boyfriend awards. Matthew Lillard really just dropped Rose McGowan quick. But
True.
Yeah, they tortured Sydney. So he gets her to give up her virginity, which she is holding on to like it's gold. And then also he apparently wants to set her dad up for a bunch of murders. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Did he rape and kill Sydney's mom?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, not a great guy. Not a great guy.
So if you add up the rape, murder of her mother, the murder of several of her friends, and the attempt to set up her father as the person responsible for all of that,
it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. I'm gonna put that high up there. But again, I mean, Guy, it seems, would do all that as well. Like, I don't think any of this is beyond Guy.
I don't think so.
He also is willing to give the world up to Satan.
Yeah.
Which is,
that's the
again,
thing.
a little bit bigger. But hey, how does that affect their relationship?
Yeah, right?
Maybe that's not... Oh, wait, no, it is a big deal, right? Because of the baby, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, no, Guy still sucks the worst.
Let's say we delve out of this a little bit. Let's kind of let's talk about a bad horror girlfriend.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of just like super sick males on this list, but
For
hey,
sure.
all those ladies, y'all ain't all angels, okay?
No, not at all.
Some of you guys are real naughty. Like, let's say, for example, that girlfriend in that Get Out by the Jordan Peele.
By the
Holy
Jordan
moly.
Peele. Yeah. Allison Williams, whatever her name was. I can't remember. Yeah.
She's not good.
She's a very bad. Now, she is part of a huge conspiracy to replace the souls of black people with the souls of white people in black bodies because white people think it would be cool to be black.
Yeah.
Now, it seems like she doesn't personally get into the killing at first, but by the end we see, oh no, she's got no problem with any of this. She's cold-blooded. She'll kill him in a second.
Yeah. That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, so she's, I think, in the same way that Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard had their little conspiracy going on, she's a part of a much vaster conspiracy, and she's just as cold-blooded as them.
That's true. And even where like Skeet Ulrich was just trying to really destroy that one family.
Yeah.
I mean, how far-reaching does this thing go?
Exactly,
it's like,
yeah.
How many, black people has she brought home and taken them into the sunken place where we don't even know how long you last when you're down in there? Is it just forever? What's going on?
Yeah, that sounds like torture. Like, yeah, I would want to not last. I'd want to disappear if that were the case. Yeah. Yeah, so that sounds real terrible. I'm going to put that up there. I mean, it's a vast worldwide conspiracy, very much similar to Satan taking over.
Yeah.
An unborn baby's not killed, so that's, whatever. Well, I guess no, there isn't an unborn baby that dies in this, technically, is there? The baby is Satan's from the beginning. Yeah, so in that case, I don't know. I think this is almost even. I think she's about as bad as Guy.
It could be, man.
Yeah.
It could be, because especially if that web continues to grow, that's
Yeah.
bad old consequences for a lot of people right
Exactly, yeah.
there. Tell you that.
And there were a ton of people at that auction for his body.
Yeah, it's true.
It seems like it must be a widespread thing. So that's pretty much on par with the vast conspiracy to make Satan's baby the ruler of Earth.
But not all of these bad relationships are attached to some sort of wide-reaching conspiracy that affects a lot of people. Sometimes it really is just a more personal one-on-one gaslighting, fucking with nuts kind of thing. And we've got a couple of those that we could sort of talk
for
about
sure.
here. Let's go with one that's maybe a little less obvious, which would be Willem Dafoe and Robert what's his name?
Pattinson?
Yeah, exactly.
Robert
That's what I said. There's an echo in here. Pattinson, like I said.
Pattinson.
Their relationship in the lighthouse. Now, they're not exactly boyfriends, but they're boyfriends for sure.
They're boyfriends, yeah. They're boyfriends, yes. And yeah, he's gaslighting him like crazy. We think maybe, unless there is in fact a sea god involved. He gaslights him like crazy. Just
drives him nuts. Drives him to extreme alcoholism.
Yeah, it's a rough one, and definitely results in one death.
Yeah,
but that's about it. It's real isolated. I mean, it's terrible.
I don't know though. If that lighthouse goes down, some ships could be crashing upon the shore.
That's a good
that could lead to
point.
more casualties.
That is, he is leaving himself undermanned, so maybe some other people would die. But again, it seems like that would just be secondary results to his gaslighting. He's way more interested in the gaslighting, really just driving his boyfriend crazy. So it's terrible. It's similar in some ways, but I don't think it's as bad as Guy.
It's true, too, because at the end of the day, you're at least getting a lobster that you're fond of.
Yeah, exactly. He is fond of his lobster. And, the farts you got to deal with that with anybody.
It hurts. God, that movie, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a fucking great one, man.
Uh-huh.
Now, while we're on this subject of Robert Pattinson, I mean, he played a pretty fucked up boyfriend in a movie that we reviewed, what's known as Twilight.
That's right. He sure did. This one's bad because he is a monster already beyond the boyfriend thing. Just like flat level base Edward is a monster.
Literally.
And he's like 100 years old or whatever, going after a high school girl.
Yeah.
So
he's real fucked up. He's like Woody Allen.
That's some Woody Allen, Roman Polanski type stuff. So that's pretty despicable there. He also does kill a bunch of people, while also simultaneously refusing to give the teenage girl that he is both like stalking and seemingly gaslighting, like, I'm so in love with you. You gotta stay away. You can't be
I'm
with
bad
me.
news.
Yeah, like, it's just like the way he deals with her and the way he manipulates her mind is very, very terrible.
It's some very fucking parasitic, toxic, horrible shit that he's trying to pass along to this high school girl as being romance. And God, it's fucking bad. And the thing about it is too is like, because of the fact that he's immortal, you're like, how many other times has he done this, and how many more times will he do this after he's done with this next human? Like, that's a cycle of abuse that could go on for thousands of years and destroy many, many, many lives. He's not good.
And I mean, if you go further into Twilight, you find out that the vampires have councils and shit. So basically, they do run the world or whatever. So it is on par with Guy. Like, we're again talking about vast conspiracies, gaslighting, all the things that Guy is up to. So yeah, I'd say Guy is he is a pervert vampire level creep.
Now, he's bad, but I don't know if he's as bad. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it here. Is he as bad as somebody who really keeps their girlfriend from becoming Nordic May Queen goddess, flower slug queen of the harvest festival?
Honestly, a guy who would keep his girlfriend from becoming the May Queen is a piece of shit. Like, look at all the pretty flowers. That's awesome.
I know. The Harga, they seem like loving people, right?
Yeah.
They got the little matching outfits. They want you to have a good time. They like to party, tripping balls. Woo!
Yeah. I mean, a lot of, I can't remember his name. A lot of the boyfriend's problems. Christian, yeah. A lot of his problems are that he doesn't communicate, but then he does actively gaslight her, and he is neglectfully abusive almost, it seems. Like he neglects her to a point where it's like aggressive. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, listen to our episode that we reviewed Midsummer on here recently to learn more about that. There's all kinds of good discussion about that flick on that episode.
Yeah, he's bad.
Yeah, he's very bad. I mean, I don't know like how many lives he's gonna ruin throughout the course of just being a shitty, immature man-child boyfriend. Like, I don't know if he's exactly going to destroy the world to bring about the birth of the Antichrist or anything.
Well, I mean, he fucks over 2 people in the short time we know him.
That's true.
But he also doesn't seem to be very capable. So like, he doesn't seem to have any ambition. I'm just saying he's not gonna take over the world and whatnot, but he does seem to have like the same lack of care that Guy has. Like, he would probably take the deal of, yeah, you can impregnate my wife with Satan's baby because I now get to be more successful in my career. I guess for him it would be his now stolen academic career.
Yeah.
But of course,
not a good guy. Not a good guy.
The positive thing with Christian is, of course, he dies. So, like,
yay!
Yeah, like, in comparison to Guy, not as bad.
I think one of the penultimate worst, most stressful, shitty relationships that we've covered on the show has got to go to the God creator him figure in Mother, which is just unbelievable, dude. That movie, I know it's a love it or hate it.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking incredible. Yeah, and a lot of that just is due to how fucked up their relationship is.
It's really bad.
He can't get over himself and his work, and he's so self-obsessed, and the way he treats the baby after they have the baby and stuff. Yeah. Holy fuck. He's a bad boyfriend. He's a bad guy.
He is very much on par with Guy. Like, just, focused on himself, focused on what, how people look at him,
doesn't care about the needs of his wife at all.
Also doesn't care about his baby. Basically gives it over to all the people to have. It's, I'd say it's on par. Like, but then, it goes even further when you get into what Mother is really representing, and he's a representation of God and this, weird abusive relationship God has with the earth or whatever. It does make it equally as evil as what's going on with Guy and bringing back Satan on earth. Like, there's an equal level of malevolence and evil to it. So he's terrible. He's the worst.
Very, very bad. Yeah. Not a good guy. Would not friend on Facebook. No sir.
No. Maybe I would, and then just unfollow him.
Oh yeah.
That way he doesn't
just see what he's up to. Then you're like, I'm not giving you a follow though.
Yeah.
You got any other naughty bows you'd like to point out here?
There's definitely the dude in Ready or Not who doesn't tell his fiance that she might have to run from his murderous family on their wedding night.
To withhold a satanic pact or whatever.
Yeah, and then tries to kill her himself.
It's true.
So
not a great guy.
Not a great guy at all.
Withholding information, not good.
Real piece of shit, that guy.
Yeah, no good. I love that movie. All kinds of bad stuff in these movies, man, but I do think that what we're seeing in this flick right here really does take the cake when you look at just the worldwide, maybe even galaxy-wide implications of what this guy did.
Yeah.
Just so he could get a shitty role in a fucking play or whatever. Yeah. What a dumb ass.
Yeah, for real. I just feel like, now that we're moving into Rosemary's Baby, I feel like you have that apartment in New York City. You're already doing Yamaha ads and all this other stuff. Like, your life's pretty good.
Seems that way.
Like, why not just see where things go before, maybe I should make a pact with Satan?
That's a good point. Yeah, because it's not like they were out. They weren't out living on the streets destitute, like, we just got evicted from our fourth place because I can't get any gigs, but this guy made me this offer. It's like, yeah, you're right. He had this beautiful young wife. They had plans on having kids and stuff. They could afford this amazing apartment. And then he was like, you know what, though? Could be better.
Could be better. I could be living in Beverly Hills.
That's where he wants to be, with Weezer. Nobody wants to live with modern
that
Weezer.
Song since it was popular, because there's nothing to think about. But anyway, he's fucked up. Yeah, guy's the worst, and it's this is just one of those things where John Cassavetes, I don't hear people talk a ton about how great he is in this movie, because Mia Farrow is so great and Ruth Gordon is so great. Like, everybody is doing a great job, but John Cassavetes does a really good job of playing slimy and shitty.
Yeah, totally. But also, too, playing this layer on top of it where, just like the head of every parasitic, shitty relationship, it's that I discipline you with one hand and then I coddle you with the other one, where he'll do shitty things, but then he'll put on this, fake smile and raise an eyebrow and be Mr. Charming and stuff.
Yep.
Like, he plays this two-faced, abusive, deep-seated, jealous, piece of shit, controlling guy. incredibly well.
Yeah, he does a great job with it.
It's pretty crazy that he can't get any gigs acting because he's such a fucking good actor.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad we started with some bit about Guy, because I think John Cassavetes should get more recognition for what he does in this. I know that in production, apparently Roman Polanski wasn't happy with John Cassavetes most of the time, because John Cassavetes is
do you mean the child rapist Roman Polanski?
I'm sorry, yeah, the child rapist Roman Polanski, who is a child
Just making
rapist.
sure we're talking about the same one that raped a child.
Yeah, we
maybe
do want,
probably several.
We want to make clear, we don't like Roman Polanski. The Jeepers Creepers episode, if you've heard it, we give an absolute 0 because Victor Salva is also a
Convicted child rapist,
and he made a movie that is a very thinly veiled movie about how he is a child rapist and he got away with it.
Yeah, it's just bragging about getting away with the horrible, fucked up thing that he did.
Yeah, so that movie got a 0 automatically from me. This movie is not going to get a 0 automatically because, one, this is not Roman Polanski's story that he told. No. This is an adaptation, and a very direct adaptation of a novel. And two, it's not about that. It's not in any way related to that. It couldn't be, because up to the I don't know. Up to this
we
point,
don't know
all
the sordid past. Yeah,
but yeah, I don't want to spend the entire episode talking about his disgustingness. He's a piece of shit. This is This movie though has a whole lot more to it.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it's one of those things that you can't separate. You can't
cannot
not mention it.
Yeah,
you know,
you gotta look at it.
And I do hereby vote that his name is permanently the child rapist Roman Polanski.
Yeah,
like, to me, what it really reminds me of
Roman Polanski.
Did you ever play the Zelda game for Game Boy?
Yes.
So you remember how you could go into an item shop and there was that thing where you could like steal from the shop, but from then on, everybody in the game called you thief? Like, whatever name you'd chosen got deleted, and everybody in the whole game called you thief the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's a cool
That's
mechanic.
the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And that's the deal with the mechanic I have for Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the child rapist Roman
Polanski, because that is exactly what he did. And there have been more than just the one known incident. So there's no defending him, and we're not going to spend any time doing it. So
no, not at all.
That is not in our interest. But this book by IR11 that was adapted very faithfully by the child rapist Roman Polanski.
Yeah, apparently he was so dumb that he didn't understand the concept of like, oh, you can make a book fit into a movie and make little alterations and adapt it. He was like, oh, so you shoot it line for line, right? Got it.
Well,
what a dummy.
I mean, I think there are two approaches though to adapting. Like you have some books where you're gonna have to change some things. You're gonna have to move some stuff around to make it fit, and then some books that you probably could. I think this does fit pretty well, with just having things play out the way the novel plays out. Because I think maybe it was written a little with this in mind. I mean, because they did sell the like before it was even sold for publish, the movie rights were sold.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah,
it was one of those, huh?
Yeah. I mean, IR11 was already a popular writer, so it makes sense. You know, we've talked about that before with like Stephen King's books. They've had, tons of different adaptations we've done have had a similar situation where it was already sold. Movie rights are already sold before the book. But when you have that happen, the writer can actually kind of write the book in a cinematic style, so it's an easier adaptation. So maybe that's what's going on, because again, we know Roman Polanski didn't do a lot for the adaptation. Like the lines are directly from the book, and like we're really getting the feel of the novel.
Yeah, and apparently the original cut of the movie was like 4 hours long. So
yeah. So
I gotta think they really did shoot the whole thing. Yeah, that's the thing, dude, is like the audiobook, because I was really hoping I could like read the audiobook before I did the movie, but I just didn't have time. I think the audiobook is like 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
So if he shot a 4-hour movie, that's pretty much the whole book.
It's the whole book.
Ira Levin, too, at this point, you know, he was a well-known author, and he also went on to write The Stepford Wives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He also wrote The Boys from Brazil.
Yeah,
all
Boys from
kinds of
Brazil.
stuff.
Yeah, he had a very successful career, and obviously, you know, like when we say that they just use lines from the book, it doesn't feel that way though. These don't feel like just written down lines. They feel natural. Like the conversations flow well. So
yeah, it's not like watching Twilight where you can hear some of these lines and be like, that probably looked good on paper.
Right.
And then you hear somebody say it out loud.
Right.
It's fucking
just
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this does feel a whole lot more natural. So that is, again, another good indication that the novel was just set up to be adapted pretty easily. So, again, I'm going to give a ton of that credit to Ira Levin. I think he's mostly responsible for that. But this is shot gorgeously. And shot with a lot of long, continuous shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really brings you into the reality of the scene.
It does, yeah. I think this movie has a flow to it, like a really consistent flow. You feel throughout the movie like you float from scene to scene. Nothing's ever very jarring.
No, not really. Even though there are even some time jumps and stuff, especially as the baby is growing and she's getting more and more pregnant. It's like... Mm-hmm. You know, suddenly it's Christmas time, and you're like, oh, okay, several months have passed then, I guess. But it never seems like this, like, what the hell did I miss?
Yeah, it's really well put together, right? It definitely, the editing, I would say, has a lot to do with it. But, again, we can't take this away from the child rapist, Roman Polanski, that he did, in fact, shoot this very well.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, it's the kind of thing, though, too, where... You're looking at the sum of all the parts, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the cast is fantastic. The location at the legendary Dakota Hotel, where John Lennon was killed several years after this movie. You know, there's a lot of just factors in this movie that lead to its greatness that aren't necessarily just attributed to the child rapist, Roman Polanski.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, that's what makes it really tricky whenever you're talking about the value or devaluing of a piece of art like a movie because its director was a piece of fucking human garbage.
Yeah.
It sucks because I don't know, this is such a fucking gray area and we'll talk about it more later, but it sucks because like the director did horrible, fucked up, stupid ass things. And then as a result of that, the work of everybody that worked on this production gets flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
I kind of feel, although this is not even remotely the same comparison, I was kind of feeling the same vibe for like the new Disney Mulan, where, I mean, you're talking about like thousands of people worked on this movie to make it happen. It was probably pretty good. I don't know. I never saw it because I'm not going to fucking rent that for $40 off of the streaming service I already pay for.
Yeah. Well, and
it's like the work of all those people is getting just flushed down the toilet because somebody at the top of the pyramid made this stupid decision.
Yeah. But it still, you know, made money. Like, it's kind of like one of those things where they don't care if we don't see it. They know other people will have to watch it.
Oh, yeah. I assume this wasn't the first time that you watched this movie, right?
No, it was not at all. I've seen this movie so many times. It's, you know, it's just one of those growing up that it's a classic, but it's also one that, unlike, say, The Exorcist, which I didn't watch a ton as a kid, this one, it just had so much to it that I liked. Like, it looks great.
Yeah.
Like, the color of it, the feel of it. I like the griminess of New York City in the 60s through 80s, so I always like to see movies set in New York at that time because it's just grime. Just
totally.
Like,
and it's like these
filthy
beautiful apartment buildings and stuff that are like starting to get dilapidated where you look at that and you're like, in 30 years that's going to be crumbling, if not earlier, you know? But it's like, but right now it's gorgeous, but just starting to fall apart. Like, it's a really, really beautiful looking flick. And too, like, this is a very important movie when you look at the fact that, you know, going into the early 70s, we would be inundated with spiritual horror movies like The Exorcist, The Omen. And this came out in 68, 69?
Yeah,
when was this?
68.
68.
Yeah, so this is the beginning of that. And in fact, the novel came out in 1967. The novel was the catalyst for a rise in horror fiction, which, like, up to that point was kind of pulp. Like, you know, there were people like you know, Shirley Jackson and whatnot who had done horror that was considered, it was still pulp, but it was considered a little more respected. But this novel coming out at the right time when enough people are both, you know, people are still reading, but people are going to the cinema to see movies a lot. So to have this thing that people read but also was already ready to be made a movie, and then the movie is such like great product, really was the catalyst for so much horror that would come out after. And it would be this, you know, devil related, like, psychological horror dealing with possessions and Satan and all that stuff. That would just be huge throughout the 70s specifically. Oh, yeah. Like, just tons of those types of movies. But yeah, as you said, the Exorcist would follow this, and then The Omen, and then Amityville Horror. And those are like 4 stepping stones to the satanic panic of the 80s. Like, yeah, exactly. It really led to just all this. I mean, that is from 68 to, what was Amityville, 79 or 78? Mm-hmm. So yeah. Just a decade that was dedicated to these movies, and 4 huge names dedicated to just devilry and, oh, Satan's got power. Oh no. Like,
he is here.
He is here.
And the thing about it is too, is like, I think that the, you know, the spiritual satanic kind of element of this movie, as well as some of the other themes that are explored in this movie, couldn't have come at a more timely era than it did. I mean, considering at this point you're probably starting to come out of the flower power sort of era where you've got all these young people trying new things and freeing up their sexuality and probably not being Christians and Catholics like their parents were and stuff. It's like this movie and all these other ones were really made to terrify middle America, normal people. Right. That were still, you know, God-fearing, average Christians and Catholics and stuff. But not only that, but you have this movie which, you know, you can look at it all from the spiritual angle, but really the movie is very much about women's bodies and the patriarchy and all this kind of stuff. And this is also coming right at the time when the birth control pill, when the sexual revolution, were all still super relevant, super recent talking points.
Well, yeah, Roe v. Wade wasn't even a thing yet.
It wasn't even a thing by then. Yeah, there you go.
They do mention abortion in this movie.
They do. Yeah.
She says that she's not going to have an abortion because, you know, she's worried that the baby is dead or sick or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some debate about that, but yeah, it's woman's body, a woman's freedom, the ability of anyone to push a woman around, like, in society. Like, every woman, it seems, just is being pushed around by all these things in her life. Like, I guess, you know what I'm saying. Fuck, what am I saying? I'm saying that Mia Farrow's character is a representation of women, and how women can be pushed around by all of these different figures in their life, from their husband to doctors to other women in their lives who have a bit more, like, age on them, or maybe a position of respect or something. Like, they are at the mercy of all these different powers pushing them, and this is just this representation of, like, their evil agenda corrupting this innocence and making it terrible.
And at the end of the day, all in the name of religion.
Yeah, all in the name of religion. Yeah, all in the name of control, all in the name of just, you know, taking away any bit of power or happiness or like, you know, freedom that a woman can have. So and this is really just like that worst case scenario of all of these institutions, all of these authority figures, all of these people who have power over you coming together to take the one thing that you care about the most.
Yeah, man.
You know, it has a lot more depth to it than I realized as a kid. As a kid, I was like,
I think so too.
Weird devil, baby.
Yeah. Like when you watch this movie the first time, especially if it's like a long time ago, you're just like, yeah, it's that movie where the woman gets raped by the devil.
Yeah.
And that's what you think about. And you're like, oh, it's like another Antichrist devil baby movie. And it's like, it kind of is, but it's not really all that much about that, especially when you view it through that lens of patriarchy and feminism. And
yeah,
it's crazy. It's so fucking crazy and stupid to me that the conversations that this movie is making us have are conversations that we're still fucking having like 40 plus years later. This is still shit we're dealing with, man. Like there's a particular scene in here where it's Guy and Dr. Saperstein and Rosemary, and they're all in a room together, and Saperstein and Guy are talking about the way she should be handling her pregnancy and the signs her body's telling her and yada, 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 while she's standing there as if she's not even in the room. And then just to make it even more ridiculous, which this probably wasn't intentional at the time, but like Saperstein's like smoking in front of this pregnant woman while they're having this conversation.
Yeah.
And again, I think that was kind of more normal back then, but now we realize even just how fucked up that is.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
But dude, the degree to which her body and her choices and her life decisions and stuff like that are just made completely out of reach for her through this movie is just so fucked up, man. It's like, and the thing about it is it's all these like little tiny things that just add up into, God damn, will these people not let this woman just do something for herself?
Seriously. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of thing that while you're watching this movie, I mean, the way that we're talking about, you'd think that we were saying it's like, yeah, men fucking beat her up in every other scene, yada, yada. It's like, no, they don't. It's just all these like mild, passive, transgressive things that they do where it's just like, what are you reading? You can't read that book. Here. What? You're not going to eat your dessert? You got to eat your dessert. That other woman worked for it. Like, just all these little decisions that men take away from her that she can't have for herself. It's just, it adds up to where you're like, yeah, she's not in control of anything. And I think that the loss of control and the loss of a person's body autonomy. Exactly. My favorite word. I think that that's really one of the core themes throughout this movie. Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And the choice of making her always look like a little girl, like infantilizing her so that it's even clearer to the audience, like whenever she's around other people, they're dressed like adults and she's dressed like a child. Like they're all taller than her. Like like we're constantly being reminded by everything about her that she is both powerless and infantilized, but she isn't dumb. Like she's not letting these, like, she doesn't let these things affect her, but they register on her. She knows that they're treating her this way, but she also doesn't seem to have power to be able to do anything. She tries to take that power. Like, you know, she tries to have the party with her young friends and tries to, like, I'm going to see this different doctor and things. But it's like the whole world is set up against her, which again is the message of the movie. Like the whole world is set up against women. It's impossible to take power in a system where all of the people with power see you as a child that needs to be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Right. And that's the thing about this movie that I get too, is it's like you said, she's not dumb at all. She's like fucking Sherlock Holmes through most of the movie, being like, whoa, he has pierced ears. Whoa, their pictures were moved off the walls. Like, she puts everything together, and she's right about all of it. Like, she's very fucking smart, but, you know, you see that, and you go, oh, well, you know, she must be an idiot. She lets these men trample all over her and, run her life for her and stuff. But then you've also got to think, too, it's like, I think that she doesn't know that there's other ways to live life than that. I think that she doesn't know that there's another way that she could live other than under this patriarchal boot. I mean, all that we really know of her past is that she grew up in a very strict Catholic school.
Right.
Her parents were like super Catholic and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was probably the model relationship. I don't know. That sounds judgmental to pass off, but I'm gonna say maybe that was the relationship that she grew up with, and that's all she ever knew.
Yeah, that can do a lot too, for sure. Religion and religious upbringing, especially strictly religious upbringing, you can have a worldview that just does not allow for other possibilities. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, is that she just doesn't know what to do when she does try to leave. Even she just like she had some money set aside. So again, as we said, she's not dumb. She's figured out like I might have to run. So she's got some money set aside. She already has her bag packed, which she said she was doing for the hospital, but I think it was for this particular situation. She gets out there, but then it's like, what does she do? Like she starts to call for a new doctor first thing, and the second that she tells him the whole story, he calls her husband.
Yeah, he turns her in.
Yep, that's what he's supposed to do. That's like it's not an issue he as another man is supposed to deal with, basically. Like the concept would be, even though he's a doctor, he still needs to address her husband regarding these issues. Yeah, it's real rough. Like even when she does try to get away, it's like it really does mimic in a lot of ways an abusive relationship.
Very much.
I think IR11 really tapped into a pretty good vein here about the issues surrounding femininity in the 60s, but turns out, 40 years later, well, 50 years later. Oh, man. It's been a while since this movie. 50 years later. Still a lot of the same problems. I mean,
not unless those change, yeah.
The recently departed Ruth Bader Ginsburg did spearhead some changes in regards to that, with women being able to go to a doctor and just talk to them directly without husband permission, though women still do have to get husband permission for some things in some states, which is fucking insane.
Stupid.
Stupid. So some things have improved. A lot of things are still the same.
Well, let me ask you this too, though. Like going back to her Catholic upbringing and stuff, and how that probably molded her idea of relationships and her worldview and stuff like that. Have you thought about how, much like how we talked about Danny in Midsummer was the perfect target for this cult, considering her family trauma and stuff like this? Rosemary's Catholic upbringing made her the perfect pawn for this entire scheme, because Catholics, number one, don't use birth control. Catholics don't get divorces. Catholics don't get abortions.
All right. Yeah.
Traditionally, I'm sure that things might have changed in some sects, but traditionally, and especially at this time period, that would have really locked her in to having the fucking Antichrist if they set the wheels in motion.
Yeah, I didn't really consider that perhaps Guy, like, they moved into the building because of that, maybe even. Like, how far does the conspiracy go? Did it happen that Guy moved in, just so happened they moved in next to some Satanists, and then they convinced him, blah, blah, blah? Or was this ahead of time? Because, like, the couple, like, what's his name? Gosh, the main bad guy, Sidney Blackmer. What's the name of the character? Roman.
The Cassavetes?
Roman. Yeah, the Cassavetes. Yeah. So Roman, he says that he had seen Guy in a play, and Guy says he doesn't remember. But we know later that all of their interactions in front of her are basically lies. So was that a lie? Like, had they already met? Had they already made this deal before they even moved into this building?
I hadn't considered that too. Yeah, and then too, it's like, I wonder if, I think her name's Tracy that kills herself at the first of the movie. it seems like she was probably offered the part of being the mother of the Antichrist and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, why else would they pick up a former drug addict off the street and take her in and all that stuff if not to put her through the same ritual
You can
abuse?
hear them talking through the wall at that one point, and yeah, they're talking about that. So yeah, they were gonna use her, and then she kills herself.
Or was she murdered? Who knows?
Or was she murdered because they now have this better option? Yeah, that seems like it's the likelihood to me. But again, there's so much going on in this, like so much about the conspiracy that we don't really learn because that's not the focus. We're seeing everything through Rosemary's eyes.
I love that about this movie. The fact that everything that we see is just her perspective. I mean, it's not like first-person perspective, although it is at times. It's a lot of first-person and then just close-ups on her face and stuff, so that way we really connect with what she's going through and stuff. But I really like how this movie, as a narrator, never shows you more than she knows. There's so many of those shots through doorways where it's just like, I love that shot where it's like Guy and Roman talking in another room, and all you see is their cigarette smoke.
Right.
Like, that's so weird and creepy.
It is. Yeah, I like a lot of what they did with just representing and keeping us out of the loop, but keeping us also suspicious like her. So throughout the movie, like, I think it's impossible for us to have ever seen this movie the way people saw this movie in 1968 because we knew. I mean, growing up, Rosemary's Baby, it's about there's a devil baby or whatever.
Devil baby, yeah. But man, what a shock this must have been. If you didn't
huge.
know.
What a twist. The whole time you'd be like, oh, that poor girl. Like, oh, she's like, delusional or whatever. And all these bad things are happening to her. And she seems to be sick or whatever. Like, you might be suspicious along the way, but then, the witch stuff and all that, it does sound ridiculous. So, like, you're kind of like the doctor that she tells the whole thing to. It's like, how do you deal? Like, how would you deal with that? It'd just be like, no, that's probably not. Like, she's delusional, most likely, because witches. That's crazy. But then, surprise, big twist at the end. In fact, they are witches, and here's a Satan baby. Like, that twist had to be really effective at the time, unless, of course, you'd read the book.
Right. In which case, you kind of knew what was coming. But man, I can't even imagine the shock of that.
No.
And there's so many moments in this movie that are genuinely just fucking shocking, man. I mean, obviously, most notably the rape scene there, where you just
brutal.
You just see the eyes and you see the scaly, clawy hands, and there's that weird
really
green
disturbing
smoke.
Yeah, super disturbing.
It's also like, because she's in this like weird dream state where she's been drugged by that chocolate mousse and stuff, and you're like, is this a dream? Is she dreaming? Because it'd been like led up to with all the crazy weird dream stuff. I love when it shows her super drugged and she lays down on the bed, and then like in her dream her bed is like on the
floating
on the sea. It's like floating, much like it does when you fucking lay down when you're fucked up at the end of a night of partying or something like that. Like, I love how weird those dream transitions are. So then whenever it goes to this crazy devil eyes and stuff and the smoke and all that jazz, which, by the way, I meant to look this up. I heard a rumor that that's Anton LaVey playing the devil in this. Is that true?
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that.
I just saw it on one video.
On it real quick.
Get Fuzzbead to check that out. Tell him to put down the ledger for a moment and scope that out and see if that's true or not. But dude, like, those scenes are so strange and surreal, and that's not the only. Well, okay, in that case, it's not a dream. It's just a partial dream. But there's some other dream sequences in the movies that are very strange, man. She has that one early on where it seems like she's dreaming about her time in Catholic school, and when the nun is talking, it sounds like the voice is like really far away, which makes it feel really strange and dreamy. And then, like, I never really get the idea of what's going on there, but it shows all like the Catholic school kids in a line, and there's some mean looking nuns, and there's these guys that are like bricking up the windows, like they're covering the windows in brick. I don't know if that is also, again, some kind of symbolism about growing up the way she did, never allowed her view to life outside of that Catholic dogmatic kind of practice. I don't know if that was what that was trying to say, or if it was just trying to be fucking weird because it's a dream.
I think it does that. It definitely does be weird.
It does be weird.
But I think you're right, though. It does have to do with, like, walling off her vision, not being able to see beyond that and stuff. And also it's a nod to the future where she's going to discover that she can get through that doorway wall thing, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe that a little bit. Anyway, by the way, Anton LaVey, the rumor was that he was the technical advisor for the Satan stuff, and it is false.
Oh, okay. Well, that's no fun.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's no fun at all. Would have been neat if he was.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, I think her dreams, though, like, they do a good job of mimicking dreams, as in, you know, the way that things just sort of happen, and, you know, some things are familiar, some are unfamiliar, some things are a little
change
distorted.
Immediately. Weird people are there for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the dream does a good job of setting up the potentiality that the rape scene is in fact her dream.
Right, because that could be an element of this movie where you're like, is the narration unreliable?
Right.
Is she, is she making this up? Is this in her head, or is this really happening?
Yeah, I think watching it from a modern perspective, where you already know all of what's going to happen, it is, the dreams are a lot less important. I think they don't serve as much to make you feel like, oh, maybe she is delusional, maybe this isn't real, but they still work really well in keeping up the surreal quality of the entire film.
Yeah, very much so.
So I think they probably were a pretty successful sort of bit for anyone who was seeing this for the first time, to sort of ease them into the dreams, make them feel like maybe some things are dreams and you're not sure, so that at the end, the twist that it is in fact all real works a little bit better. But again, that twist is just not going to work on anybody ever again, I don't think, right?
Right. Yeah, unless you grew up in a bubble,
Right. Yeah.
It's so cool, too, though, how this movie does such a good job of, it starts off with them shopping for the apartment and decorating and shit like this, and it seems so grounded in reality and normality in the real world. Yeah,
they're just sitting and eating dinner on the floor with just a lamp. I've done that moving into an apartment where it's just that's so hungry, don't want to unpack. Just, very relatable stuff.
Yeah. And then you get this hyper surreal fucking devil rape scene where there's there's the guy dressed up like a black priest. There's all the naked old people around her.
It's crazy.
It's so fucking weird. But then the thing is that happens pretty early in the movie. Yeah. And then you spend the next probably hour and 20. It's a pretty long movie. It's almost 2.5 hours. You probably spend the next hour 20 without anything truly supernatural happening on screen. I mean, we have the guy going blind and then Hutch going into the coma and stuff like that, but there's nothing on screen from her perspective that is truly supernatural or impossible. And then when we reach the end of the movie,
there it is.
There it is again.
And it's also presented so plainly, too. I love how she walks in and everyone's just, there, just doing their thing. Not everyone reacts to her, really. It's just kind of like, oh, you're here. So normal.
Yeah, and they're not threatened by her or anything, because they're like,
all. Yeah.
What's she going to do to us? Come on.
Yeah, so it's a real... It's like that. I would like to have experienced that twist back in the day. That probably was just like, dude, what? And then when you do get the sort of flash to the baby's face as well, like, what is that baby?
I thought that was just a flash to her memories of the devil's eyes.
I
because,
guess,
like,
yeah.
that's after she's like, what did you do to its eyes and stuff? And then
Yeah.
it's almost like she
Yeah, I guess my
remembers.
brain's just putting that together. Yeah, but you're right.
Got it.
It's not the baby's face. It is the devil's eyes. But it is, she's saying the baby's eyes, and then it flashes that memory of the devil's eyes. But it never does actually show the baby.
I'm glad
is-
it didn't either.
Yeah. That's
Like,
it,
I think it's a very wise choice
it's
that they
very
never
smart,
showed it.
yeah. Mhm.
They just showed her reaction, and I even like the phrase, "What did you do to its eyes?" Like,
right.
as if something super unnatural is happening here. Like, a baby isn't born this way. You had to have done something to it.
Yeah.
It makes it scarier than whatever they can show me on the screen.
Yeah.
And one thing about this movie that I was going to ask you about and see what you thought about it. I mean, considering she spends so much of this movie, very much under this patriarchal heel,
Mm-hmm.
and then she kind of breaks free, and she ends up kind of being forced back into the apartment, forced to deliver the baby and stuff. But then she makes this, like, I'm gonna go in here with this fucking knife, reclaim my phallic violence object,
Yeah.
and take my baby back.
Uh-huh.
And then, like you said, she's very much diffused because these people are, like, not even
Yeah.
threatened whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, she kind of gets this sort of, like, flush of maternal joy where it's like, she isn't like, you bastards, I'll kill all of you. Like, she kind of falls into, well, I have this baby, I guess I'll take
Yeah.
care of it. What do you think that's about? Is that a happy ending? What is that trying to say?
I mean, in some ways, I think it's about motherhood can be that. The lead up to the birth is all sorts of attention toward you, though it's also controlling attention. I mean, pregnant women have to deal with literally strangers judging anything they do. So, like, it's you're going from a point where everyone's paying attention to you to where now you're the secondary, not even secondary, tertiary. Like, you're just off to the side while everybody's fawning over the baby.
Right.
But they're also oftentimes getting in between you and the baby. Like, the mother and the baby aren't getting to spend as much time because the family all wants to be there, to be involved, and the mother's taking a back seat now. Like, I think some of this is just that sort of feeling of all of, like, how how much focus is on your body when you're pregnant from everyone, and then how insignificant you can become in a second. But then also, as you said, she does have that sort of flush of maternal joy there at the end, which it's like all the shit that she's gone through just kind of melts away in that moment where she realizes, well, but I did get what I wanted. Like, I did get a baby.
Right.
I mean, I'm not sure what it's getting at. It definitely is an interesting moment, like almost like she's like, well, it was all worth it for this in the end.
Yeah.
Which is okay, no, I don't think that's a positive, which is, again, a good ending because it's twisted. It's fucked up. It's like, wow, she's really going to accept this role just because she wants a baby that bad.
Yeah. After, she had that baby because this web of people manipulated her, got her raped by the devil, lied to her about everything.
Right.
And now don't give a shit about her. Like, I think some of those themes that we see at the end there, where she does, again, kind of seem to be overcome with this glow of motherhood, I think that it's almost some of the same themes that we saw them taking on in Gretel and Hansel, where the witch is very much viewing these maternal instincts and this want to fulfill that role as being a weakness. I think that in a way this story is telling us that this patriarchal world that we live in will take advantage of your maternal instincts to keep you in this form of bondage, just to keep you a baby maker.
There you go. That's it. That is exactly what it's getting at. Yeah. I think
Again,
you're right.
I'm speaking from a place of just fucking,
right.
straight white guy. Duh, of course.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really know.
Yeah,
but
obviously,
that's
we are
what
not
I get out
experienced in being pregnant women. at all.
Never once done it.
Never once done it. I've been real close, though. I was inside of a woman when my mom was pregnant with me. So I don't remember a lot about it, but it was a thing.
I mean, I'm basically an expert by now. So.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, that like, yeah, the insidiousness at the end of just how it actually worked. Like their evil, disgusting plan not only worked in getting, Satan's child born on Earth, but also worked in getting Rosemary to take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Because, again, they're just using her maternal instincts against her at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whew. Fucked up, man.
Yeah.
It's super, super fucked up.
It is for sure. What's interesting to me is how little Christianity seems to play into this movie at all. Like,
okay, so you think so. Interesting.
Yeah.
This is fun because I think that it's all upends this movie. So from your perspective, what makes it not seem to be that wrapped up in Christianity?
She doesn't ever go to church.
True, yeah.
She doesn't go to a priest for help. She doesn't open up a Bible. She doesn't pray.
Right. That's true, yeah. I mean, she addresses earlier that she grew up that way, but now she's just kind of skeptical and doesn't really know.
Yeah, she never resorts to any of those things at any moment. So yeah, I mean, the Exorcist, The Omen, and Amityville all rely on the people turning to religion at some point. Even though The Exorcist, like she like very much loath to turn to religion at any point. Here, she never does at all.
I guess not. Yeah. Now that I think about it, I didn't really think about it that way. But yeah, she's never like call a priest. There's witchery afoot.
No, not once. She goes to the witchcraft. She goes to the bookstore for the witchcraft books. She doesn't go there for books about Jesus.
And it's interesting, too, because if you think about it, if she's like fully accepting this idea of witchcraft and Satanism, that means that she would still believe in its opposite, which is Christendom.
Right.
So that means she has some element of faith left, because otherwise she'd be like, there's no Satan. I'm not scared.
Right. I guess. I mean, the occult was pretty popular in the 60s, so maybe, you didn't have to believe in Jesus to believe in astrology or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, like, I mean, I don't even see her turning to witchcraft books as having anything to do with religion.
Interesting.
The only bits of Catholicism I really see are in her dreams.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and she passes by that little statue of the Nativity and stuff later on in the movie where it's got Mary holding the baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Wearing all blue like Rosemary does through like the whole movie.
Yeah, and also, a good allusion to what's coming. She is, Mary's holding the child of God, and she is going to give birth to the child of Satan. So, similar. But again, just never does turn to the church. That's an interesting element to this for me, that she just never once even prays or even mentions Jesus or something.
Yeah, it seems like especially during this time period that would have been exactly what she would have gone to first, right?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, see, that's the thing that I get out of it that I find is an interesting sort of, I think, mirror held up very deliberately in the face of traditional Christian tradition, especially Old Testament Christian tradition, is like there's so many things in this movie where you're seeing all these men make decision for this woman and what's to be done with her body. We see that she is this chosen vessel for this conception through this supernatural spiritual being, that she is forced to carry the child of. And then, I mean, if you want to go like real dark about it, you even see that this church that is at the head of all this stuff values the baby that is born of this unwanted, unasked for rape.
Yeah.
More than they care about the suffering of the woman that went through it. They still value the child exclusively. They don't really care that much about Rosemary. They don't care about Rosemary at all, but they do care about protecting the life of this unborn child. These are all things that are
Yeah, okay.
kind of Christian Catholic elements.
Yeah,
you know?
You're right. Yeah, those are. It is a very good mirror of Christianity. Like a Christian would be sitting in 1968 watching this, going, "Oh, these people are so evil," but the message is, in fact, that's you. That's you. You're that. You.
This you. I don't know, man, but it's like all the crazy rituals and stuff that they do in this movie. At the end of the day, like, is it weirder than eating the flesh and blood of the child of God after the spring equinox? Like, come on, man.
Not at all. Yeah,
I think that it has all these religious elements in there, not to be like, whoa, Satanism is freaky, but to also be like, whoa, like, it's kind of the same thing you guys do.
Yeah. That's exactly, that probably is that is the bit of religion in here is really biting, cutting, like, just saying, like, this is you. Everything you're saying that you fear is the world you've created. Yeah.
And dude, I think one of the most
a good
just like
message.
aggressively fucked up moments of that in the whole movie is like, as she is being raped by the devil, she is approached by, I think it's the Pope, and asks this man's forgiveness for what is happening, for what's going on, and
for
it's
what's
like
happening to her.
Yeah, exactly, that she had nothing to do with, that she did not ask for, and she fucking kisses the ring of the Pope while being raped by the devil.
Yeah,
like, that entire situation, I think, is just there to be like, look how women just really get fucking trampled in the whole mess of organized religion.
Yeah, they sure do. It's not really changing much in the more orthodox churches, like, say, Catholicism or Mormonism, places where the rules don't change very regularly.
Yeah.
They're not making room for women to be leaders and things. That's not happening. There's no change in those things. So yeah, it's still very archaic. It's never going to change, honestly. If it's like if Catholicism changes, then why were you a Catholic? Like, if they're like, oh, we were doing it wrong this whole time,
never mind,
then it's like, well, what the fuck was I listening to you for? The only reasoning behind listening to you is that you are the only people who know the rules.
I thought you were right. What the hell?
Right, so you'd have to be right about them. So if you admit that you're wrong, which they can't do, if you admit that you're wrong, you undercut the entire idea of the church. So they're never going to be progressive in their relationships with women. It's always going to be that. So they have to be uprooted and destroyed. No more religions. We get rid of them.
I do love that this movie goes straight to Satan, though.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
As
it's
I
just
mentioned
like
before,
pure
like,
Satan.
I think because I just grew up so religious and stuff that, like, when I see it represented just very bald-faced in a movie where it's just like fucking Satan, or even like Payman in Hereditary and stuff.
Yeah.
There's still just kind of that vestigial part of my brain that, like, gets spooked out.
See,
so I like that this wasn't just some weird devil
that.
cult, but I get it. Yeah, I get that about you.
Yeah, I don't have that, but the thing is, we like the same thing for different reasons.
Totally.
I like whenever it's a demon or something like that, or some actual Lovecraftian horror or something like that. Like, I like when it is an actual presence. That really adds something to me, where evil is this personified being. That's fun. I don't know why that I enjoy that so much, but the idea of the devil to me, like, I think I love Black Phillip is the best representation of the devil, because to me, I don't get the fright factor. I don't get, like, if you're like basically the idea is you're talking to somebody who has almost the same powers as God, but he's also cool with you fucking.
And he can hook you up with some butter and a pretty dress and show you the world. Count me in.
This dude's not scary. He sounds fun. He sounds cool. Like, I'm interested in knowing more about that. So
No doubt.
yeah, I like movies with devils and stuff too, but different reason.
Dude, kind of on the subject of, Rosemary's complete lack of bodily autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is represented in very overt ways, like obviously with her being raped by the devil.
Yeah.
But even in more subtle ways where she doesn't even have control of who enters her home, where
right.
Like they've just moved into this place, the doorbell's ringing every damn day, and like their neighbors, and then all like Miss Saperstein and like that Coke bottle glasses friend of hers come in.
Yes.
It's like, hey, we're coming to hang out. They sit down like they fucking own the place and just start knitting. Like, she can't even keep people out of her house, much less the devil out her body. Like, she is invaded at every fucking possible corner of this movie.
Yeah, yeah. I love that lady with the Coke bottle glasses, too. She is one of the strangest characters in the whole movie, because she's like...
Dude...
She's like full of like, the just like this childishness to her.
Yeah.
And she's kind of an asshole.
Dude, that's the thing. Like in this movie, there are these like tiny glimpses of humor in it.
Yeah.
Especially during really fucked up parts that are so just like subtle and funny. Like they're at the very end of the movie whenever, Rosemary walks in on the fucking satanic party and stuff, and she's rocking the cradle, and Rosemary goes over and she's like, "You're rocking it too fast."
Mm-hmm.
And Roman, tells Coke bottle glasses lady to leave. And as she's leaving, she like sticks her tongue out at him, like raspberries him a little bit.
Yeah,
because it shows like, yeah, these people are Satanists, but they're also just normal people. Like to me, one of the funniest moments that embodies that too, like Miss Cassavetes. There we go. Fuck, man, it's confusing because dude's name is Cassavetes.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard to say. Yeah. Castavet, Mrs. C, as I call her.
Oh,
in my
Mrs.
notes.
C.
Miss C. There's that part that we saw way earlier in the movie where Roman spills some of that vodka blush or whatever on the carpet, and she's like dabbing at it and stuff. I love that scene where, again, at the very end of the movie, Rosemary walks in, she's got the knife. She drops the knife and it sticks into the wood floors.
Uh-huh.
And Mrs. C like goes over there, pulls the knife out, and like kind of like prods at the area of the floor that's been scuffed by the knife that just went in the floor. Mm-hmm. It's just like those super subtle, like, okay, she's a Satanist. She's in the room with the Antichrist baby and stuff right now, but God damn it, she just put a fucking ding in my floor. These things don't take care of themselves. She's a practical woman.
Yeah, I love that. I also like everything about Roman Castevet. I love everything he's wearing the first time we see him.
What the fuck is he wearing out there on the street, dude?
It's awesome. It is like just insane. Like bright red pants, like just a checkered jacket. It was all over the place and awesome. And that guy's voice is amazing.
He either looks like he just got done running a shift on his ice cream truck, or he's Macklemore. And he's been popping some tags.
That's probably it. And then also we got Ruth Gordon always dressed in Minnie, always dressed
lurid
in super
colors.
Bright colors. Yeah, I love that.
I
Ruth
feel like
Gordon,
they're kind of this hyper exaggeration of nosy neighbors.
Yeah,
like your obnoxious nosy ass city neighbors.
Yeah. Ruth Gordon does such a great job. Like she's
amazing.
Like a mile a minute. Like I don't know, like how I don't know if anybody could have captured just perfect nosy neighbor any better. Like she did it so great. Just love every moment with her being annoying and always being there. She's really fun.
But like seemingly meaning well too, where it's like
she does seem to me.
She's shoving down these stupid, disgusting looking drinks down her throat and making her these stupid, ugly, nasty looking snack cakes and stuff. But it's like, it seems like she's meaning well. And
Yeah.
in reality, she is meaning well because she's trying
Sort
to
of,
tend
yeah.
to the birth of the
Yeah.
Antichrist. So
Exactly.
she is meaning well, just not how you think she is. Hooking up girls with their stinky necklaces
Yeah.
full of nasty old roots.
Yeah. And, you know, the neighbors, great. Also, Ralph Bellamy as Dr. Abraham Saperstein is great. And just everybody
Dude.
does a good job of both. They cast well because everybody just has a good face. Everybody has a good character face.
I can't help but feel like Stanley Kubrick in real life based his character off of Dr. Saperstein in this movie. Where he's just like, I'm just going to be this like fat bearded guy. I don't even look at people when I talk to him. I just talk down to him like I'm way smarter than them and stuff. Dude, the way that he just completely fucking shuts down Rosemary through the whole movie. He is such a intimidating, dismissive presence in this flick. Dude, like when he's like, you're not going to read books. What are you doing? Trying to read books? You're not going to talk to your friends. Like, this is all like major patriarchy shit.
Yeah.
But because he's a doctor, because he's an authority figure, you have to trust him. I feel like the role of the elder or the authority figure deserving trust and deserving respect unnecessarily is a huge part of this too. Because, I mean, the entire Satanist bunch is just a bunch of fucking old people.
Old people, yeah. Uh-huh.
But like immediately Guy is like, I want to get to know these people. These people are fucking cool. They're old.
They're old. Old people know stuff.
Yeah.
Old people are fun to hang out with. Yeah, I think that is interesting that like it makes it suspicious, like why Guy wants to keep having these people over. Like they're not the same age, which is why, you know, she has that party where she has over people all the same age, and it's like,
which Guy totally poo-poos and stuff.
Yeah,
of course.
he's terrible about it, of course. I mean, the way that they do some real just good subtle setups, like as you said, Ruth Gordon Minnie she's very much seemingly meaning well, but you can also see how she's annoying, but like you're not very suspicious of her most of the time. Same with, you know, the doctor, like he's being a dick and everything, but you're just thinking like, oh, that's how doctors talked to women, I would imagine, in the 60s.
Dr. Dick.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking dick, but you don't suspect that he's a Satanist at first. Like, it really is a good bit of, like, these people, a lot of their character is just that they picked people with unique faces and stuff and then gave them just enough character that they pop off the page. So like, you know, the tongue sticking out and stuff like that, just enough that they're all different, but they're always sort of innocuous. They're not really like, they're old people. You're not really worried about them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and like I said, they just seem so perfectly ordinary in a lot of ways, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really well done. Draws you into that world very well. I think another star of this movie has to be the sound design, and I think whenever you think about the audio portion of this movie, you think about the creepy la 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 opening song and stuff. La 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 la.
That's Mia Farrow. La la.
Yeah, it is. That's right. You think about those elements and stuff, and the soundtrack of this movie otherwise isn't all that huge, but some of the sound design stuff, like the aforementioned thing where I talked about where the nun sounds like she's really far away when she's talking, and then also too, like how unnerving that constantly ticking clock gets. In the really fucked up scenes. Man alive, dude. It's like it lets you know that like something really fucked up is about to happen.
Yeah.
Very unnerving sound design in this movie, and I think it just lends to the overall claustrophobic atmosphere of this flick. I mean, there's so many shots and stuff in here where she seems kind of dwarfed by this apartment, dwarfed by these male figures that are around her all the time, and plus she's just such a tiny little woman anyway.
Yeah.
You get this very enclosed claustrophobic feel because she's not really leaving the home much at all, barely at all.
Yeah, she's at home most of the time unless she goes to a doctor's office, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mia Farrow, man, she really does an amazing job of pulling off this role where she is, as we said, an intelligent person in this situation where she might not even have the world experience to know how taken advantage of she is,
Right.
and her very ambiguous, strange accent.
Yeah, she's got that sort of mid-Atlantic accent that a lot of actors and actresses had in the 50s and 60s. That it's just like, where is that supposed to be from?
Yeah, totally. It reminds me of that time that Madonna had an English accent for a little while.
Yeah,
Kind of like that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, her accent is interesting. Mia Farrow, awesome in this. She got delivered divorce papers from Frank Sinatra while filming because he didn't
What
want
a nice
her.
guy.
He didn't want no wife of his working. That 50-year-old man married to a 21-year-old. There is a shocking amount of like age different situation going on in regards to this movie. Like too many weird age different situations. But yeah, she does an amazing job in this. She was already, kind of an it girl. She was in Peyton Place, which was a popular TV show, but this was kind of her first big role. She had done some British movies. In fact, she was in a movie that the title of this and the fact that it is a British spy thriller is the most British thing ever. It's called A Dandy in Aspic.
That is actually the most Brit thing I've ever heard. Ever. I can't think of anything else.
Dandy in Aspic. I'm going to have to check that out because, boy, it sounds like quite a thriller.
Sounds thrilling.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, she was actually not even their first, the first person they went for. They wanted either Tuesday Weld or Sharon Tate for the role.
Woo. Yeah. Wow. At this point, the child rapist Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate were they married?
They were engaged at this time.
Okay.
And so Sharon Tate as a possibility. Here's the thing. Tuesday Weld or Sharon Tate, they're not tiny like Mia Farrow. So it would have actually had a different feel to it.
Yeah, because they would have been grown women being treated like children versus somebody who's a grown woman that looks very young and very childlike being treated like a child the whole movie.
Yeah, so I think Mia Farrow was the better choice. It definitely was a better way to go because the physical difference between her and everyone else calls out the fact that she's being treated like a child. The way they dress her calls out that fact that she's being infantilized. So I think not only does she nail the role, but I think it was a really good job of casting for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And dude, Mia Farrow, it's so insane that in this movie she gave birth to the Antichrist, and then later on in that Omen remake, she was the nanny of the Antichrist, of Damien.
It's all for you.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is cool.
That
was a good choice.
So cool. And what is the deal with her just like really attracting the absolute worst species of men in her entire life? Why?
Yeah.
Why did this happen?
I don't know. But I can guess that, say, a Woody Allen, who is also a child rapist. Is that what we would say? I mean, I guess if you marry your adopted daughter, it's technically not rape, right?
I mean, the thing is, though, is you've also got to remember, like, this is the guy that made that movie Manhattan, which is all about glorifying an adult having a relationship with a 17-year-old high school student.
Like, and we know from Ronan Farrow, and he's a child rapist. Like, he's terrible, and that's probably why he was attracted to Mia Farrow, though, because of this child look that she can pull off.
Wonder, and it really grosses me out. A lot.
Me too.
A whole lot.
Yeah. So, why are there so many creepy dudes? Why are so many of those creepy dudes also creatives? What?
Yeah, this is one of those things that, this is where you really get into this extremely gray area, extremely sticky wicket. Sometimes a very black and white area.
Sometimes,
yeah. At times, it's a very black and white area. And honestly, I don't have an answer as to how to navigate this.
Yeah.
Because if you look into many of the great works of almost anything, there's probably somebody that contributed to it that did some extremely fucked up stuff. Like,
maybe, yeah.
If you love the Beatles and think of them as angels, don't go digging up dirt on John Lennon and stuff, man.
Yeah, because you'll find out real quick. He's not a good guy. Not at all.
Stairway to Heaven is the greatest rock song of all time, but man alive, you don't even have to fucking dig to find out fucked up stuff about Led Zeppelin that really makes you reconsider the value of some of the work. It's such a hard thing to define and to know how to navigate. I think that at the end of the day, once we know something about somebody, once we know that someone has for sure done something heinous, everyone in their industry and in their lives should have the dignity, the self-respect, and the respect for the lives of others and victims that person has created to not have anything to do with them.
Right.
After we found out that Victor Salva was a convicted child molester, he shouldn't have gotten to fucking work anymore.
Right.
Everyone should say no.
Right. Same with Roman Polanski. He's made movies since then.
Dude, and even after he got, banned from re-entering the... Well, he wasn't banned. He'll just be arrested if he sets foot in here.
He'll be arrested, yeah.
Yeah, and his name was, like, going to get dropped from the, I don't know, whatever, Screenwriters Guild, whatever, one of those big fancy Hollywood things. And we had all these directors and stuff, including, like, fucking Wes Anderson and Martin Scorsese and all these other people, write in letters begging for his name not to be besmirched. And it's like, no. You should have the fucking respect to say, yeah, this person made a good movie, but he shouldn't get to fucking work anymore, and I won't have anything to do with him. I won't work with him anymore.
I mean, sincerely, if somebody is like, well, I need to know all the details, they're all out there. Like, this is not one of those he said, she said things. This is one of those he did, got convicted, and then escaped the country.
Yeah.
That's it. You jumping to defend him. I came up with a voice for those people, and it's probably one of the most hateable things I've ever produced. Let me just see if I can.
See if you can muster it.
Let me see if I can muster it. All right, here we go. This is the voice everyone has when they defend Roman Polanski.
Oh, don't talk bad about Roman Polanski. His movies, they're so good. Oh, I love Roman Polanski.
That's exactly what they sound like.
Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah.
That pretty well nailed it, man.
That's my answer to anybody who's like, but what about his body of work?
What about his body of work?
That's what you sound like now.
Yeah, who gives a shit about his body of work? He's a child rapist.
Yeah.
The end. Fuck him.
Exactly. And it's one of those deals where, and again, it's like, I don't know where to draw the line. I cannot even remotely confess to say, this is where the area of moral grayness ends. Because, like, I'll tell you this, like, I never want to watch The Cosby Show again.
No.
Because I feel like Bill Cosby and his entire persona that he represented was just a fucking lie. Like, I feel like he lied to me, you know? But it's really easy to throw the work of, again, like Victor Salva's Jeepers Creepers. It's so easy to just completely discard that because, for one, that movie sucks anyway.
Yeah, fuck that movie. Yeah.
And then also, the message is so embedded in that movie. It's like, it's inseparable. It's almost like a stand-up comedian that gets busted doing some really fucked up stuff. It's like, that's a one-man show. His art is the one person producing it, and like
so
I said,
it's easy
hundreds
to
of people
say,
make a movie.
Okay, he's fucked up. Not gonna pay attention to him.
Yeah, exactly. But the waters get murkier sometimes
hundreds
more
of
people that are
working
involved.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of thing where, okay, I'll put it this way. As far as like this particular movie, this particular story of Rosemary's Baby goes, this isn't a Roman Polanski story. He cannot take credit for any of the story. The story was already right there in the book.
Screenplay credit, but he himself really was just taking directly from the book. It is so very much the book.
Quincy Jones wrote all the Michael Jackson songs that we love.
So,
okay,
all right.
It's like we have, scattered very bad things about Michael Jackson's personal life that have turned many people away from listening to his music. And I totally get it. I totally understand. But at the same time, it's like fucking PYT comes on. That song's still a jam. Also,
Michael Jackson's voice was
an
an instrument, and the songs aren't about his desires.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I'll put it to you this way, too. This movie that was directed by the child rapist, Roman Polanski, is nothing about his own desires and stuff. It's nothing about that. It does not have that voice in this. And also, too, I mean, I'll put this out there. What if Quincy Jones wrote all those same songs and Stevie Wonder did them?
Yeah.
They'd be fucking kick-ass.
Yeah, they still would be kick-ass. That's true.
Yeah.
The songs are kick-ass because of the music, Quincy Jones, and of course, Michael Jackson's voice, but Stevie Wonder's got a great voice too.
Yeah, he could have done it too.
Yeah.
Like, to me, when I watch this movie, and I think if this would have been directed by what's his name? The guy that did The Omen. It still would have turned out great if this would have been directed by
the guy that did The Omen.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick. Like, if this would have been directed by Stanley Kubrick, would have been fucking amazing.
That did The Omen, God damn it! It's driving me crazy now that
it's like a
said
super real. I got to get Fuzzbeat on that one. Get him to work that out. Fuzzbeat, to work with you.
Fuzzbeat's telling me it was Richard Donner, old Dick Donner.
Richard, of course, Dick Donner, of course. So, like, to me, the story of Rosemary's Baby that Ira Levin wrote is strong enough on its own that it didn't need Roman Polanski to make this a good movie.
No,
you know what I mean?
It didn't. He obviously did a good job with it. But
yeah, totally. I'm not saying he didn't.
The production design, like, leave the production designer, everything else the same. Like, you could have a different director and this could still be great.
Yeah. I think so. So maybe that's why I have an easier time separating myself from the director here, because I know that director isn't 100% of this movie. Right. It's not like this is his pride and joy, his brainchild.
Right.
He was the guy behind the camera, and he had some good ideas to add on top of something that was already great, that I already would have loved regardless of who was behind the camera. Again, dude, like, fucking PYT is just as badass of a song.
Yeah.
No matter who's singing it, And already I'm just wondering, maybe Quincy didn't write PYT, but you get damn well what I
mean. Yeah, I do get damn well what you mean. So yeah, it's, while it is a difficult thing to navigate, like, what level of dirtbag is enough of a dirtbag? Like, Axl Rose is an asshole, but
he's a piece of shit, dude. I'm sure he's done so many horrible things to women of all ages throughout his career.
Probably, but we don't know about them. So all we know is he's an asshole. We know very, very specifically what Roman Polanski has done, and we know very specifically its relationship to this movie, and I think we both can agree that we can separate Roman Polanski from this film and give this film a rating unrelated to Roman Polanski's crimes.
Oh yeah, I think so, because again, this is an Ira Levin story.
Yeah. So I still have to admit, like, we wouldn't have ever chosen to do this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it was something that I always was just like, if somebody wants us to do it, if it gets drawn, we'll do it, but I'm never gonna rush to do a Roman Polanski movie. And it's specifically because you have to clash with this a lot, and then it's like, I really prefer being able to look at what we're rating as a work by itself, and this makes it difficult. But I think I can. So if we're there, if we're at rating, I think I'm ready. What you think?
You're ready. You're going to drop a number on this bad boy? I think in terms of this movie, I will give Roman Polanski a 0 out of 1 million.
Absolutely. 0 for Roman Polanski.
And I think that no one should stick up for him or choose to work with him ever again. I think that once you do these things, you should be fucking blacklisted. That's just a fact. And, you know, he had a really fucked up life. Not at all even remotely stepping into excusing his actions at all. I mean, you told me earlier he was a Holocaust survivor. Obviously, he had his wife and unborn child murdered by a cult. Like, holy fucking shit. His life has been fucking crazy. Yep. But if that's the situation, a person needs to be given help, not a position of power, and not a position where they could abuse the position of power that they have found themselves in. They should not be given that. They should be given help. Rehabilitation, whatever that might mean. I'm not even going to define what that means exactly, but they shouldn't be given power. That's, I think that's the best way to kind of think about it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll give him a 0 as a human being, but man, this movie is really, really cool.
It is.
It's a slow burn. It has Satan. It has conspiratorial elements, which we know I always love. Whenever,
me too. I love that.
Man.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody finds themselves at the center of a web of conspiracy, I think it's the fucking scariest thing. So this movie does push a lot of my fear buttons. I think that it's amazing and relevant and sad that there's all these issues in this movie about women's rights and women's rights to their own bodies and their own feelings about their own bodies, whether that be what they want to eat or what they want to do with their hair, or here's another one we didn't even fucking address,
we forgot to talk about that. Yeah, the hair.
Yeah, that which is awesome. Pixie haircut, she looks great.
Oh yeah, she looks adorable, but then he's like an absolute asshole about it.
Yeah, and then also too, it's like this is again another one of those areas where I think the whole patriarchal thing that runs through this whole movie is extremely, extremely strong. She's like, I have all these fucking scratches all over my body. I had a dream I was being raped by the devil. Mm-hmm. And her husband is like, you silly goose. I was raping you. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. How did
like,
we forget that?
Fuck.
Right.
Steve,
that is central to
man.
this.
What you got to understand and remember is that spousal rape.
Right, yeah.
Wasn't made illegal in all 50 states until, I think it was 1993.
Yeah.
There was no being raped by your spouse.
Yeah.
You could not say no if you were married to that person.
That is insane.
Holy shit. Like, that's what he does to try and comfort her. You weren't being raped by the devil. It was just your husband. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fun in a necrophile kind of way. Like, how is this comforting?
I forgot about that because, like, watching it through the first time, I had completely forgot that existed. And I guess my brain just keeps yeeting it out, just like, get the fuck
like,
out of here. Do not remember that.
Erase.
Yeah.
Yeah, really fucked up. But like I said, to me, it's insane that here we are, fucking 50 years after this.
Yeah.
And we are still talking about the very real possibility of the Supreme Court being overturned by conservatives that could potentially overturn Roe v. Wade. What the fuck are we doing?
They sure could.
And why the fuck don't women all want someone up there swinging the bat for them? When are you gonna get tired of men making all the decisions about your fucking body? Ugh, drives me insane.
Yeah,
and that's Democrats and Republicans. I'm not just pinning that on conservatives.
No, yeah, it's absolutely true that there are people out there that just, if they don't feel like they are, being stopped from doing anything they want to do, they just don't see how it could be a problem in anyone's life. Like, if they feel like they're getting like every opportunity they want, then how's anyone having a problem? I don't understand. Like, but it's also like you said about like her Rosemary's mindset. Like, so many of these people don't know there are other options.
Yeah.
So like they don't even know that they could support something more. Like it's terrible. The society we've put together, cobbled together with just bullshit and spit. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We're gonna have to work on it.
But I think the way that this movie covers those issues, especially at that time period, was profoundly progressive. Especially wrapping religion and Satan and Catholicism and stuff into it too is incredibly bold. This must have made a lot of waves when it was released. I can only imagine, because I feel like even if it came out today, there's a woman getting raped by the devil. Like that's news.
Yeah,
that's
that
news right there.
It seemed like somebody at the very least at Fox News would raise an eyebrow. Yeah.
And like I said, I love the claustrophobic camera stuff. I love the setting. Just that grime and stuff that we were talking about, and the performances by everybody are fantastic. And I especially think, the role of Guy is every bit as impressive and noteworthy as Rosemary herself, I think, in a lot of ways. So I think it's really a fucking incredible movie. I will watch it again. I have no reason to ever refer to it as anything other than Ira Levin's Rosemary's Baby,
right.
because this is his story.
Yep.
And fuck Roman Polanski, the child rapist.
Yep.
So if I'm putting a number on this, it's high. I think this is probably like a 9 for me. I really like this movie a lot.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I agree with you. 0 for the child rapist Roman Polanski. Duh. But this movie is so good. It's a really, really great movie. Well acted. The way that everything plays out, the way everything's slowly revealed, the message is like the way that it's definitely addressing very, very strongly these issues. And as you said, just coming out in 1968 in a time where, a movie about a devil baby is a pretty wild concept, and it made a lot of money. It got a lot of attention. It got a lot of award nominations. Like, this is the type of movie that definitely would have ruffled some feathers, but those feathers that got ruffled obviously paid for tickets, because this led to The Exorcist and all those other things. People wanted more of this type of thing.
Yeah.
So I just really enjoy it. I really love it. I think Mia Farrow, so great in it. It's probably one of the most strongest weak performances. Like, she's supposed to be weak throughout, but she comes at it so strong that throughout you never really root against Rosemary. You're always on her side.
Right. You don't reach that point where you're like, fucking you dumbass, fucking get out, do something. Like, you never really hit that point.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're always with her. You're always on the same level of suspicion or whatever. So I think she does such a great job. But yeah, you're right. This is high. 9 sounds right. 9 sounds good to me. I think I'd give this a 9. It's infinitely rewatchable. Like, even when you know the twist, which most everybody who's been born after 1980 probably knows the twist. Even when you know the twist, still a great movie.
Yeah, still a great flick, man. Totally agree. Yeah, and I don't think that we'll be revisiting Roman Polanski, the child rapist, again on the show.
Yeah, because everything else he did isn't
really that good. Yeah,
No,
exactly. Yeah, so it's like, I don't really want to talk about Ninth Gate or any of that stuff.
No.
So, yeah, it's probably a one and done.
Right.
And I'll tell you, if you like this movie and you like those themes of bodily autonomy and patriarchal society and stuff like that, it's so weird that I just happened to have watched that Swallow movie that I talked about 2 weeks ago on the show.
All right.
Maybe even just last week.
I wrote that down. Yeah. Still haven't watched that.
Dude, after watching that and then watching this is the first time in several years that I've watched Rosemary's Baby. The themes between these two movies are so similar, it's crazy. It never brings religion into it. That's really the biggest difference between this movie and Rosemary's Baby, is that it never brings God or Satan or anything into there.
Oh, okay.
Really fascinating movie that takes on these same themes, I think, in a very different way. So check out Swallow. Watch the trailer for it, and if you're not intrigued, maybe it's not for you, but I know that I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, we got to watch this. So
All right,
check it out if you want more of this kind of thing that, as far as I know, is not made by a child rapist.
Let's the fingers crossed. All right, no more movies
Fingers
made
crossed.
by child rapists.
Yeah, please. Well, you guys be sure to tune into the show next week. We're going to be kicking off the kind of, early Halloween season here with a bang. And I'm going to tell you what movie that is after you go on Apple Podcast or anywhere else you can review podcasts and write a quick review for the show. Keep them G-rated or they won't get posted. Rate us 5 stars if you want to help us out. Really does help us land in those search engines and stuff. So doesn't cost a dime, doesn't take but just a minute. Go in there and rate and review. Steve, where can they support us on Patreon and stuff?
Patreon.com/Dead and Lovely. Head on over there.
sense.
Get on over. We got 7 mini-sodes up there. We got all sorts of opportunities to potentially choose what movies we cover, because not only do we randomly choose movies, but also when we're looking for what movies we're going to do, we look at the movies in the bowl, because they're the movies you guys want to hear us talk about. So become a Patreon patron. You get to help drive this car.
That's right, you do. And you can follow us on Instagram and stuff and stay in touch with our hijinks and shenanigans.
Yep, Instagram.com. Fucking shit.
That's the one.
Don't go to Instagram.com. Is that a thing? At Dead Lovely at Dead Lovely Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, head on over there.
Now, can they get that on their Cricket phone? Can they get that on Cricket?
I think on Cricket, yeah, you gotta go to Walmart and you gotta get them to enable the Instagram.com app.
Ask your grandkids; they'll know about it.
They'll know all about it. Yep. Also, Facebook.com/Dead and Lovely. We got a great group over there. Super fun all the time. Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of new people sign up lately.
Streaming chat. Go.
Yeah.
Just listen. We're all over the place.
Just be with us, hang with us, chat with us, give us your money, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, whatever.
We're cool. We'll go with it. We'll just go with it, okay? And be sure to tune into the show next week, where we are once again going to be entering the turf of the Deadites, the world of Evil Dead, as we talk about the only one that we have left other than the Ash vs. the Evil Dead series. We're going to be talking about the Evil Dead remake from 2013, which is directed by, who did that?
I don't know how to say his name. Is it Fade Alvarez or Fede Alvarez? Don't know.
I think it's Fede Alvarez, yeah.
Okay. I'll find out for sure before we record the episode so that I'm not annoying the shit out of everyone saying the wrong name.
I'm so excited to watch it because it is just fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be some of the farthest they ever took an R rating in American movies. I mean, it's
for
brutal.
Sure. Yeah, it is brutal. It is brutal,
Yeah.
And not at all what I expected, but also so pleasantly surprised by it. I remember when it came out.
Yeah, man. I hope that it holds up and stuff because I mean, as listeners of the show, we do love us some Evil Dead, and we've only started to love them even more after doing them on the show. So. Hopefully this one will stand the test of time. I also want to remind you guys, we got early voting season starting up. Go vote. Register to vote. My saying is, if you don't vote, you can't gloat. Okay?
No.
You can't gloat. No gloating. No vote, no gloat. Okay?
No vote, no gloat. No vote, no goat. As well. They're giving away goats this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a new thing.
That's nice. That's pretty fun.
You go vote, and they give you a goat that has a shirt on that says, I voted.
And then you can gloat.
Then you can gloat all you want.
That's right. So don't forget, go out there, make a change, see what you can do. It's free. It's your right as an American. Fucking do it, okay? And be sure to tune in next week for Evil Dead 2013. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. You guys have been fantastic. And if you got some more thoughts on, separating art from artists, and that kind of thing, the works of monstrous men, you could say, be sure to let us know your thoughts over there in that Facebook group and stuff, because it's such a gray, weird area that I'm still trying to navigate myself.
Yep.
That having any other outside opinion might help me understand this more and help me out with this. So if you have some more perspective that we didn't cover that you think should be addressed, Let us know. Don't let us live in ignorance. Don't let us be dum-dums. We're on the internet. We don't want to be worldwide dum-dums.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I just have such a limited view on it because
Same,
I've only ever
man.
been a consumer. I've never been the victim of a monster that makes great work. So my viewpoint is extremely limited. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same. Yeah. So, yeah, let us know.
Update us. And be sure to tune in next week. We'll be talking about Evil Dead. Thank you guys so much for listening. You guys have been fantastic. I've been Uncle Ben.
I've been Hollywood Steve.
We're dead and lovely. Bye. So this week I've really been picturing this scene where it's like, it's maybe late 1968 production on this movie and stuff is wrapping up.
Right.
We got a guy that comes into an office that is, we got like an overworked composer in there. He's got his music notes just all over the place. He's working on a bunch of different soundtracks and stuff. He's up to his eyeballs at work. And this guy's like, "Hey, Johnson, what do you got for this song to open up to Rosemary's Baby? You got some lyrics working up for this thing yet? What do you got?" And the guy in a panic is like, la, 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 la. Johnson, you're a genius.
Sold, Johnson. Damn it.
You get a raise. It's brilliant. It's spooky. It sounds like a kid. Polanski's going to love it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yes.
And scene.